Hi, I'm Chef Atulya. Today I'm gonna show you how to make an amazing vegan pumpkin cheesecake. It doesn't even matter if you're vegan or not because this cheesecake is so good that all of your family and friends are gonna love it. And you're gonna be really popular if you make it. Okay, so let's get started. For this cheesecake recipe, you're gonna need a 9-inch springform pan. I've cut out a piece of parchment paper and lined the bottom of it to prevent it from sticking. Today we're gonna be making a biscoff cookie crust. Into a food processor, I'm going to add the biscoff cookies. If you don't have a food processor, don't worry. You can just put these in a Ziploc bag and smash them up by hand and just get your rage out on the cookies. You want to blitz these up until they get like a sand-like texture and you're ready to add the melted butter. That should be done. I like to get this back into the bowl to mix it up thoroughly because the food processor doesn't get the job completely done. So I'm just gonna add half of this into the springform pan. We are gonna build up the crust along the sides. Spread it along the side. Okay, I think that should be even enough. Then you're just gonna take a cup or whatever you have to spread this around the sides and press it along the edges. This is what the crust looks like. I'm gonna add the rest of the cookie crust onto the bottom and we're gonna press this down. I'm going to spread the cookie crumble in a relatively even layer. Once again, use that cup to press it onto the bottom. I'm gonna go around the edges one more time, pressing that crust down firmly. Here's our beautiful biscoff cookie crust. I'm gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 to 7 minutes. That'll help the crust to set and get nice and crispy and ready for the cheesecake filling. I've already baked off the crust, but I'm gonna let it cool completely before we get onto the filling. In the meanwhile, let's try this country crock plant cream. This is not an ad. I was working with a chef on set and she makes the best cannolis and vegan tiramisus. Shout out to Chef Sandy. I was like, what the heck is that whipped cream you're using? And she's like, it's this. And I was like, oh. All right, let's try this country crock plant cream, heavy whipping cream alternative. There's instructions on the side. Make sure you take it out of the fridge and that it's chilled. Put it into our stand mixing bowl. You can use a hand mixer as well. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. 1, 2. Powdered sugar. I've already went ahead and sifted this. Boom. You can already start to see that it is whipping real well. It's only been about like 30 seconds. You can even make this whipped cream in advance and stores in the fridge in an airtight container with a lid on for like up to a week, and it does not lose its fluffiness or whippedness. Is that even a word? Okay, it's been about 2 minutes of this whipping. Let's check it out to see if it's formed a stiff peak. Boom! You see that? You see how firm that is? I mean, I love a good coconut whipped cream, but this stuff just works much faster, it's easier, it's more stable. This stuff is good. I popped that whipped cream in the fridge and the crust is also cooled completely so we can make the filling to go inside of it. It smells so good, like brown sugar. The filling is so easy. It's like blending a smoothie. First into the blender, I'm going to add some water as our liquid base, lemon juice, because this is a cheesecake, so you want a little bit of that acidity in the flavor. We're going to be using some soaked cashews. I've soaked these for about 2 hours. Make sure you soak them because they need to be soft enough to blend and get nice and creamy and smooth. I'm gonna add 1 can of pumpkin puree. And for the pumpkin spice factor, you can mix up different spices like cinnamon, ground ginger, nutmeg, allspice. I'll have that recipe written in the description box or on my website. But for today, I'm gonna be using pumpkin pie spice just because it's much easier to just buy 1 spice, but just do whatever works best for you. This is gonna be 2 tablespoons of pumpkin pumpkin pie spice. Don't worry about any of the measurements. It will all be provided. Some vanilla extract. Can't have any dessert without salt. The salt brings all the flavors together, it seasons your desserts, and it's just as necessary for desserts as it is for savory dishes. I'm gonna be sweetening this with some brown sugar. And the last ingredient is melted coconut oil. I'm not gonna add this in until after all of this is blended. Oh, turning on the blender is essential, and not dropping the spatula is also essential. Okay, I'm gonna just stop the blender for a sec to scrape the sides. There's always like little bits of something stuck on the side. Stream in the melted coconut oil. This will really help emulsify that oil perfectly with this filling. Take the filling, pour it into the crust. Use the spatula to scrape it all out. What I like to do is I like to tap the cheesecake to get rid of some of those air bubbles. And then I like to take an offset spatula, smooth out the top. Doesn't need to be perfect. And you can set this in the fridge for overnight, several hours, 6 to 8 hours for this to completely firm up. If you're not gonna use it right away, I would recommend popping this into the freezer until the time of the event. You will need to take it out and thaw it in the fridge before serving it. You can't serve it frozen because it's gonna kind of have like an icy feeling to it instead of a nice creamy, moussey texture. I'm gonna pop this into the freezer because I'm not gonna use this one quite yet. I have a pumpkin cheesecake here that I prepped last week. It's been in my freezer. I thawed it in the fridge today. I put some of that whipped cream into a piping bag with a nozzle. Ooh, it is so pretty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A little in the center, and then you're just going to dust some cinnamon over.
And there you have it, our beautiful vegan pumpkin cheesecake. Now I'm gonna show you how to slice it up to get nice clean edges. I dipped my knife in some hot water. I'm gonna wipe it clean, then take that knife down and swipe it out. And then you're gonna have to clean off this knife every cut. So I'm gonna dip it back into the water, wipe it clean, and then get the other slice. Pop out my slice. Ooh, there it is. Plate it up. That's how you get nice, clean slices. Now time for the taste test. I've already tried this cheesecake a bunch of times. It's so good. This cheesecake is a perfect recipe. You get that pumpkin spice flavor. It's the perfect amount of sweetness. The filling is nice, creamy, and almost like has like a whipped mousse-like texture. And the crust is crunchy, brown sugary, biscoffy. It goes perfect with this pumpkin cheesecake. It's actually like almost the best part of this cheesecake. So good. So this recipe, I will be linking it into the description box below. I hope you guys try it out for this pumpkin pie season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next recipe. Annyeong!